Hey, everybody. Welcome to Not Your Father's Show. My name is Lenny Schmidt.
And I'm Robert Robbins.
Yeah, he's the other guy. Here's the deal. We're here every Monday at 6 o'clock. Talk about raising teen kids, what it's like. I have two daughters. One is, she's not a teen. She's 20. She'll actually be 21 soon. And a 17-year-old.
Wow.
I live in the Valley, and I travel quite a bit. I'm a single dad, two daughters who live with me here in California.
And I'm a marriage and family therapist, married, and we have one daughter that's going to be a teenager in about a couple months. So, and we're also here in Los Angeles. So welcome everyone. Hello, and welcome to Not Your Father's Show. Please like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us at notyourfathersshow@gmail.com.
There you go. It's right up there. Yeah, and like the video, subscribe to the video. It'd be a big deal. That really helps us a lot. So if you take a chance or take a moment to do that for us, I would appreciate it. Besides that, thank you for tuning in, and thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
So, there we go.
So speaking of being there, I don't know about you, Lenny, but I used to look for fights with my dad. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I used to do that with my mom. My mom and I didn't get along at all. Like when I was a teenager.
Aside from playing like lawyer ball, like technically you didn't tell me not to, that kind of thing. When I knew I was being just a real not good kid, I would look for things to, well, I didn't want to say a real shithead, but
Sure.
Oh well. So I would do something. My dad was just the most patient man ever. My mom, not so much. My dad, all the patience in the world. And when he finally had enough, he would say something like, "Dadgummit, you're acting like an idiot, And I would take that and just run to the hills with it. I'd be like, "Oh my God, you just called me an idiot. How could you do that? I'm your son. You think I'm an idiot." And then he'd be like, "Oh man." He's like, "I didn't call you an idiot. I know you're not an idiot. I know you're very smart." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, you got me." But I would drag it on as long as possible. So the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of parents out there, they're trying to teach their kids. And the problem that they've faced in the earlier years is they are always doing things for their kids. They're not spending as much time teaching them, such as laundry, dishes, responsibilities, and then sort of expecting that in the teenage years. So now in the teenage years, they're trying to teach their kids, and the kids are taking that as criticism and victimization.
Yeah, they always feel like they never do anything right. Like any criticism, like I go through this with Lily because I mention her a lot because she does most of the chores in the house here, and I had to show her how to do dishes not too long ago, and she got really mad. She's like, "I can't believe you're showing me how to do dishes again. I've been doing dishes for like most of my life." I go, "Yeah, I know, but you're not." The worst part is it wasn't the first time I did it. I go, "This isn't the first time I had to show you how to do your dishes. This is the third or fourth time, and you are not paying attention. And if I find dirty dishes in the cabinet, I gotta say something. I can't just can't look the other way." But she gets so offended. She's so mad, like I'm coming down on her really, really hard. And I go, and I simply try to explain. I go, "Look, I'm not even mad. I got a little frustrated after the fifth time. But still,
Yeah.
You go, look, and I want to show this because I'll do this a lot with her. I go, look, I'm going to show you the right way to do this so that it's done perfectly. And so that it's done the right way. I'm just going to show you the way I do it, what I think is the best way. You can do it however you want to do it. But as long as the end result is that it gets cleaned, I'm going to show you what I do. Like I did that with the bathroom. Like she cleans the bathroom. And when I clean the whole bathroom, I, top to bottom, scrub the walls, the whole deal, floor. And I go, "This is how you do it." Boom. I go, "There you go." It really only takes about 15 minutes to clean the whole bathroom. Because it's a small area. You just scrub the shit out of all of it, And then she'll clean the bathroom, and I'll go, "All right, did you clean behind the toilet? Okay, and did you scrub the wall? Because a lot of times she always we mentioned this in the last episode. A lot of times she'll go, "Yeah," and I'll go, Don't lie to me. I can tell you didn't do it. I totally. You know what I noticed is when
you see the eyes looking around, they're like,
yeah. But her big thing is the garbage. I go, did you empty the trash in the bathroom? And she'll go, yeah. And I go, that's not possible because there's stuff in that trash can that was there when I left town 2 weeks ago. It's still there.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you empty the garbage? Oh, yeah, I forgot. You know what I mean? So there's always
Mm-hmm.
there's always like a little.
They want to
curve
see what
thing.
they can get by with, right?
Yeah, so that's why,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why inevitably, which is what something you mentioned in the last episode, which I thought was really great, was do it on their own time. Because inevitably, I feel like I have to show her again how to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and then she gets frustrated and mad. And I go, well, look, if you just did what you're supposed to do, I have a couple of simple rules for the kids: do the right thing and do the best you can. If you follow those 2 rules,
Mm-hmm.
that pretty much helps you everywhere in everything: life, school, homework, housework, whatever. You do those 2 things. You get to a point when you're old enough, you're a teenager, and you're in your 20s. You know what the right thing is. You can't do something and go, oh, I didn't know, because you did know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I divided that. I've had a lot of parents come in, and I'll never forget this one mom, and she had these 2 sons that would get about cleaning their room. Now, boys are really messy. Girls are also really messy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have the clean kid, boy or girl. It doesn't matter. Every now and then you get someone that's pretty clean. But both boys and girls can be messy. It's not in particular of either. Now, in this situation,
Girls are slobs. Girls are bigger slobs than they believe you or lead you to believe.
yeah,
I've walked
they just want to be composed when they leave the
bathroom.
house. Yeah.
I won't even go into their
Oh
bathroom.
my gosh. Goodness gracious. So because boys usually have like a bar of soap, shampoo, and a towel,
They have a bar of
until
soap
they
that's
need a
sitting
razor.
there. It's out of the box, but it's still, you can still read the word dial
It's still
on it.
dried and
Yeah, it's like-
crusted, and you're
it's
like,
like-
what do
it's
you
still-
mean you took a shower? This thing is, it's
still
spot welded
molded.
onto the rack
Dude,
here.
It's molded. Dude, look at it. This hasn't even been used, this bar of soap. It's got edges.
It's got the cracks in it, from drying out. So, and the conditioner's all gone every week.
Yeah, that's weird. Why is the conditioner gone? But now there should be a balance between the shampoo and the conditioner.
Absolutely. So in this situation, this mom had these 2 boys, and she was getting after them every single week about cleaning their room, and they weren't, and it was always a fight. And I stopped the mom and I asked, "Did you ever show them how to clean their room?" And she's like, "Well, it's simple, it's obvious." And I said, "But if you never teach your kid, you can't expect any difference." The biggest problem is parents and kids don't have the same standard or definition of the nomenclature of this is clean. This is the standard, not
Right.
expectation. This is the standard. This is where it has to be.
Right.
So, for example, what I've done with my daughter, and it's not an overnight thing, and I've told hundreds of parents and kids on how to do this with their kid, is the first time we go through, for example, their room. It's like, all right, here's how to clean your room. First, we're going to, strip the linens and make the bed. So once that's done, we put everything on there, get everything off the floor, put the clean clothes away, dirty clothes in the hamper, start the wash, so on and so forth. And then we end with dusting and vacuuming. At a certain level, I say, this is clean. This is my standard of clean. I want you to look around, take pictures on your iPhone if you need to. This is clean. Everything's put away. There's nothing on the floor that doesn't need to be on the floor. Your closet's clean. You don't shove everything up under there. Under your bed is clean. This is it. That's clean. So if it's not at this standard, it is not clean. Okay? So you have to get on the same page with your kid. Absolutely. For example, doing the dishes, we did the same thing. Our daughter got kind of lazy, and she would just rinse instead of kind of scrubbing them off, throwing them in the dishwasher, and then we'd get stuff that still has food particulates on it, and it's like, okay, this is crusted on, and you got to get like a spackle scraper or something like that to get this off. So we would remind her that you'll have to do them again, and you'll have to scrub harder, and the whole point is to work smarter, not harder. Mm-hmm. So once you do this, if you keep with our standards, and I remind her all the time, I'm trying to teach you how to get things done quickly and efficiently so you can go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a lecture, and then I have to explain, and then you're upset, and then, But back to what we were initially talking about with criticism, there's a lot of parents out there that are now trying to teach their kids. And the kids sometimes use it as deflection, and some are not used to working hard. Some are used to and prone to being lazy. It's an unfortunate truth, but it's true.
Yeah.
And they're not used to putting in that effort to make things like simple chore that they can be proud of, and they're deflecting the responsibility.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I agree with you completely on that. Also, they should understand. I have yet to be able to explain this properly. I think Anna gets it after the fact. You know what I mean? Because she'll be frustrated at 1st. But Anna, it takes her quicker to go, all right, I guess I understand what you're doing. Because I'll be like, I'm only showing you this or teaching you this so that it's easier for you. Like Anna had a script that was due for one of her classes, not last semester, but the semester before, and she was using Final Draft to write it. And I tried to show her how to set up the macros. I go, here, you can set up the macros and the short smart type so that you can interflow between your dialogue and your action and get your characters all registered. Let the software do the work for you. That's what it's developed for. Because she was just she was figuring out where the dialogue went and then would set the margin. She was using Word, and I go, "Why are you going through that?" And she got so frustrated. She said, "No, I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it, Dad." And when I finally showed her Final Draft and we got it done, she was like, "Oh my God, that's so easy." I go, "Yeah, that's the point, though. That's what I'm trying to show you. There's an easier way to do what you're doing." And a lot of times I'll go, "Let me show you this way, my way, the easier way, or whatever way that I think might be simpler." And you can decide whether or not you want to do it. It's up to you if you want to do it. But at least let me show you something that can save you, especially saving time. Things like apps and software programs. Now, some of these things are developed to save so much time that I'm like, you're crazy to not at least look at it and realize how much it works for you.
Right. You hit the nail on the head with that one, because a lot of kids are opening. Yeah. Score.
I'm
High
smart.
Five for Lenny. Boom.
I'm smart. I didn't go to college.
You are.
I didn't. You did.
I went to too much college.
Yeah. That makes up for my no college. That's perfect.
Yeah, and still you're teaching me something all the time. The main thing is that you're right. You have to let the kids know that I'm trying to show you through my mistakes and my experience what is the fastest, most efficient way to do something. And that's what a lot of parents don't explain to their kids, saying, you don't want to do this. Believe me, there's something better that I can be doing, but I'd rather teach you so you learn from my mistakes. Once I show you what's up, once I show you how to do something as efficiently as I can, if you want to use it, great. If you don't, that's fine. If you find a better way, even better. But a lot of kids are used to shortcuts. So that's why when,
they're all
for example,
used to shortcuts now. And nobody wants to, and honestly, there's a huge chunk of this generation that just doesn't want to work and do things. You know what I mean? All teenagers kind of do that stuff. I find one thing that helps me with this situation, if I can tell my kids a story that involved me screwing up horribly years ago when I was their age or when I was younger, not so much like when I was a kid, but explain to them something I did wrong that if I would have just paid attention, I would have known a better way to do it. Sometimes telling them that story registers with them. That seems to work better.
Yeah.
As opposed to me going.
Yeah, because they're like, you screwed up. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you, Dad.
Yeah. And plus I have lots of stories of me doing something terrible. You know what I mean? Or screwing up horribly. Where I'm like, I didn't think the garbage compactor was on. Just little things like that where, I didn't need to read the directions, I thought, and kids are, why would you do that? So it helps me. It helps me with explaining that, because the hardest thing when they become teenagers, they just, they just don't want to listen to you, man. Sometimes some are worse than others. Sometimes you and I are not perfect for this show, only for the fact that we don't have some of the difficulties that some of these other parents have with their teen kids. You know what I mean? We're very fortunate, both of us. We are. And, that's why there's a lot of people that come into my office. There's a lot of people that I can help because they're looking for, and believe me, I tell my daughter all the time. I actually told someone else this the other day. It's not the fact that I know more than you. It's the fact that I've made more mistakes and I've been out there and I've learned from them. That's great.
That's where a lot of it comes from.
Right. Of course.
It's not a lot of things that I'm teaching. Oh, it's my mom calling. I'll get
Who?
back to her.
What's your
It's my
mom?
mom,
That's
but I
great.
will get back to her. Yeah. See, my mom's calling me. Her ears are burning. um, actually, I'm gonna let my mom know. Hi, Mom. I'm recording a show with Lenny, not your father's show. Can I give you a call back in a little bit?
All right, bye.
Bye. Love you.
Look at mom. Mom, right to the point. All right, bye.
Right to the point.
I like it.
So, it's being able to share with a lot of these parents and the kids that once you have an idea of how to do something, drop the laziness. You're going to drop the procrastination, and I'm here with you to learn it, to move forward. And the whole reason why is so you become a better person once you leave the nest.
Right. Right. Well, I pushed that narrative a lot, that I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. I'm always pushing. I'm trying to make life easier for you. I go, I know that I did this. And Anna asks a lot of questions. I mean, Anna's very, and Lily does for the most part. Lily does a little bit. I mean, Lily's kind of off her own thing, but Anna asks a lot of questions. She always asking for advice, or, hey, what should I do about this class? Or I have a friend that, so she's always coming to me for something. So, and I think it's because I try to come across, if you come across preachy, and this goes with anybody, I find, if you come across preachy and high and mighty, and you're pointing a finger at someone, you tell someone they're wrong or they're stupid and they need to pay attention to you, they're not going to pay attention to you. You got to find a better way to get through to them. Right. There's almost there's almost like a 1-minute manager approach to a lot of this stuff with Lily. I do it a lot where I'll go, wow, this looks great. This is awesome. The front, you got to build her up and then go, now, how about this? What about the stove? You got to throw out about 19 positives before you point at the one thing that might be wrong, which is
feeding the compliment sandwich, something good. Here's the constructive criticism, then end on a good note.
Yeah, well, there was a book years ago called The 1-Minute Manager. When I was running restaurants, we all read that book. And the approach to train an employee is the same technique: is you find the positives in what they did, you show them how they can make it, they can fix the mistakes or be better in certain areas. And then you put it all together and ensure them that they're a good employee and they're doing a great job. And, and so, it's like a compliment sandwich. And it makes sense because they see, like, people, there's that old saying is, people, you can attract more flies with honey than vinegar. If you're mean to someone and you call someone an ass or stupid or dumb, they're not going to respond. Politically, that always cracked me up the last few years. You know what I mean? Like, if you're now, our political divide is so far that if you're on one side, you look at the other side and you go, you're an idiot. Well, no one's going to listen to you if you're calling them an idiot. No. They're not going to learn they made a mistake unless you find a way to show them the mistake and explain it to them in a way that they're going to try to comprehend and understand. And teenagers are the exact same way. Yeah, right.
I've told parents many times the same thing. Would you listen to someone yelling at you?
Right.
Unless it's like, look out.
Yeah, right.
Your kid's not listening either.
Look out! And screw you! I'm not listening to you. There's a giant cinder block falling from the whatever.
That happened to my dad and I. We were playing catch, and I overshot the ball, and it went down the hill. So he long balled it all the way up, and I was like looking around, like at my feet, doing nothing. And he's like, I'm like, what? And I got a ball right in the face, and I'm crying. I'm like, what were you yelling? I said, duck.
I was telling you.
And I'm like,
I was warning you.
I was like, I'm like, what?
All right. Yeah, you look up.
But aside from that, I remind parents, you got to be to the point. And you can ask your kid, you can say, listen, here's a few things. Number one, don't lie to me. So if you know the answer and you're asking me when you already know the answer, let's not get into the dishonesty area. So you got to remind them of that. Did you take out the garbage? No. Did you? Because I'd rather have you being honest, And I tell my daughter all the time, just be honest with me. She's like, I knew I was supposed to take care of the kitty litter. I just didn't want to, so I went to bed. All right, cool. Thanks. You got to go get it. Can you do that, please? Sure thing. Okay, no problem. So there's the honesty. The second thing is reminding them, do you want me to just give you the answer and then you can go do it? Or are you asking because you want me to teach you again?
Right.
And a lot of times they're like, no, I don't want you to teach me again. Okay, then it has to be at that standard that we talked about. If it's there, great. I don't have to lecture you. I don't have to teach you again. I don't have to point it out. You can take care of it. So those are the things that we have to keep in mind. And it's hard.
It is, yeah, it is hard, and also you want to try to put your kid in a situation where they are solving a problem for themselves or figuring something out to some level. Like when my daughters usually ask me for help on their homework, I always found a way to explain it to them, but yet made them do the work. You know, like I wouldn't go, the answer is 73. I would go, what do you think the answer is? Where would you, if you were going to get it, how would you get there? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, let's try a couple of different ways. You know, I wouldn't just come out and tell them the answer. I would make sure they knew whatever process it was to solve the problem or whatever. And the same thing goes with every other thing that they do. What they do now, you want them to try to think a little bit as far as solving the problem on their own, but you still want to be there for them and help them. You can't give them all the answers, because if you give them the answers, they're never going to be able to figure things out on their own as they get older. And they're in their 20s, 30s. You know, those are tough years then. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually, what they say is somewhere around 13 or 14, maybe 15. You've pretty much embedded everything you can into your kid on a like a moral level.
I'm done at 13. I'm done. I've done my job.
I know.
You get a job and get out there.
Yeah, go. I mean, what happened to like 200 years ago? Kids were in factories already by the age of 8, right?
Kids were at the farm up at 4 a.m. Yeah, they were egging cows and milking chickens.
Yeah, egging cows and milking chickens.
That's right. It was a tough life back then. You didn't sleep till 11 and check your cell phone.
They didn't go to bed with a light on in their, you know.
Yeah, right. I know. So
basically what you have to do is just take that extra time with your kid, learn how you can teach them without them to victimization, because then you can call them on it and say, you're not a victim. I'm trying to educate you so you learn to do it better for yourself, so you're self-reliant. And then keep with the honesty. Did you empty the trash or not? And have a standard of definition of what you expect.
Yeah, and it's so much harder with this generation, because not only do you have to come in with positives up front and motivate them, and not just point a finger and say you're wrong. You know, you can't go, this is wrong, fix it, because then they're not going to be mentally they don't take to that well. And this generation is a lot more sensitive. I mean, the victimization,
very much so.
Yeah, the victimization thing comes up constantly out of the blue, and you're like, a lot of times you're like, no, I'm just saying take out the trash. It's a simple, I'm just saying clean up the kitchen. I'm not critiquing you or yelling at you or calling you stupid, but they get so defensive and quick.
Yeah.
And triggered. Everybody's triggered now.
Everyone is. Well, you can also, I remind parents too, there's times that you can be upset and hurt by your kids. And you can also tell your kids, like, oh, they're dragging their feet saying, listen, a lot of times I don't want to go to work. I don't want to have to pay this bill. I don't want to have to go and make sure that your soccer cleats are out of the car or this, or put in your bag, whatever it is. I don't want to do that. But that's the responsibility, being responsible to make sure everything's done. So you're not there, with no cleats. You're not there without a lunch. You're not there without a jacket. You don't have lice or bed bugs because we do laundry. It's these kinds of things that keep the house together.
Yep.
It's being an adult.
Yep. Being an adult. That's the lesson I try to constantly try to teach here is you're just trying to, it's adult stuff. It's adult stuff. I tell my kids constantly, it's just adult stuff. And you know what? Adult stuff sucks sometimes, but you got to do it.
It does.
You got to do your taxes. Sucks. Got to go to work. Sucks. Life is filled with a lot of things.
Unless you love what you do. Like you love what you do and I love what I do. So
that's the other thing you try to teach them is if you find a way, which is a different subject, but if you teach them to find a way to make money at the thing you enjoy doing, pursue the thing you love to do. So then even if you're working all the time, you're working at something you enjoy doing. Don't be in a situation, don't take a job for money. Got a lot of friends that make good money early on out of college, and now they're like, and then 10 years later, they're like, oh, this is the worst. I hate this job. Yeah, don't think about, if the money's good, that's not the only thing. You got to have some sort of passion in what you're doing, man. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable 45. Kids don't understand they're going to be working for, 45 or 50 years of their lives. They don't get that.
Yeah, they're thinking that when they retire, it's like winning the lottery. They're like, I'm just going to retire at 30. And I'm like,
and I'm going to take my lotto winnings and I'm going to just do whatever I want, live on the beach. I'm like, okay, that's good for
living in a van down by the river.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be living in a van down by the river. All right, man, let's wrap this up, buddy. That's a good one. This is a good one.
Yep.
So to sum it up, man, if you're when you're explaining things to your kids or you're trying to teach them, they're going to go. They can quickly go to the victim side and they get triggered and they get upset. And it's harder now than ever to guide your kid through and teach them how to be just a productive human being.
Yeah. So that and making sure you have a standard to stick by.
Right.
And it's that constant, reinforcement, both praise as well as reminding them without losing your cool.
Right. Right. And consistency. Be consistent.
Consistent.
And you're good. All right, man.
All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, email us at notyourfathershow@gmail.com.
Yeah. Email's right. Bam. Email's right there. Hit us up with any questions. Thanks so much for being here. We will see you next Monday.
See you then.